Hey everyone, how you doing? Well, this series that we're going to do today is all about the knees and the ankles. Very important. Often not when it comes to knee rehab, you might hurt yourself or have ongoing knee issues. Often not when people do rehabilitation, they just think about training the quads and elements around the quads. But one of the big things that we've got to start thinking about is actually when people strain their knees, it's often how the foot is connecting into the ground going up to the knee, where you do a lot of the damage. So today what we're going to do is actually start thinking about training the lower leg and think about how that connects into the quadricep muscles. Now, often not when I'm treating people's legs, I find there's a lot of stiffness through the rotational elements of the lower leg. How the fibula and the tibia work together. They create a very important platform that goes up into the knee joint. The patellofemoral joint sits on top, and that allows us to use the power of the quads to a point tip tuberosity so that we can actually get rotational movement and power as we start moving. So this is important for people that want to run and run in not necessarily a straight line, bending their body. So sports injuries, sports where you're turning, pivoting, rotating, or people that might ski. I know a lot of people aren't skiing at the moment, but we'll think about that. So what we're going to do is first of all learn how to use the lateral muscles, which I often believe is a bit like the shock absorbers of the car, that actually allow the foot to get control. It allows the power of the gastrocs muscle to be able to put the power into the ground as you accelerate, but this stabilizes the foot and the ankle so you can direct that power. And also as you're landing and absorbing, it allows you to absorb power as well. So a very important group of muscles to start training. So what we're going to do is start onto our back. And you want to start with your back flat on the floor, knees are around about 90 degrees. Sometimes handy just to have the feet up a little bit higher. So first of all, we want to just discover how to use these muscles. A simple way of using those muscles is just lift your leg up, slide up the wall, and bring the foot back towards the head, and you'll feel these muscles come back on, and then come back down. And go up onto the other side, pulling the foot back towards the head, and then come back down. So we'll do, say, 3 little maneuvers activating the tib ant and the peroneal muscles on the right leg. Going up the wall and feeling that activation. And you can do the same thing onto the other side. 1. Now, if you have an injury, really quite important to try and do this with the uninjured side first, so that you can compare how it feels. Now that muscle, as I said, is really quite important for shock absorption. So if we're going to shock absorb with this muscle, we think about landing in squats. And so in this case here, you can use that muscle as well. So as you come down low into your foot and leg movement, that muscle comes on here. So you want to draw your heel into the wall so that you activate the peroneal muscles on the lower leg. So just practice just drawing down. You can do both legs if you want. Draw both down and feel the muscles come on, and then slide them up the wall. Drawing them both down, feel the muscles coming on, sliding up the wall, and then down again, feeling the muscles coming on and up the wall. The progression from here is to do it in both open chain and closed chain. So the open chain is with the foot is free. You're going to feel the peroneals and the tib ant muscles come on there. And then you're going to draw it on again, right deep down into your lower movement here. Slide up the wall, flex through the foot, come down the wall, and deepen, flex into the ankle. Doing that 3 times. Other side, flexing, nice and low, activating the muscles, just getting an idea. Now, just a little word of warning, not everyone will be able to get their legs straight as they go up the wall, because if you have back pain, tight hamstrings, tight sciatic nerve, you may need to be able just to go there with a soft leg, and that's okay, bend your ankle there as you do these exercises. Okay, so from there, what we're going to do is then try and make those make this lower part of the leg rotate as we activate these lateral muscles and the flexors of the foot. So in this case here, what you're going to do is we're going to put our foot into a slight little, what I call hawk's foot position. Because as we do that there as well, we then start engaging the middle stabilizers of the foot in this same exercise. I'm going to lift the feet off the wall, lift the toes off the wall, pushing my heels into the wall, and then pivot my feet to the right, up, and then to the right, and then up, and then to the left. Now I'm a physiotherapist, get my right and left mixed up. Okay, over to the side. Now as I do this, you try and keep your knees nice and straight. Going to the left, right, left, right. Now if you want to make it a little bit harder for yourself, you can make it a bit quicker, or you can add double taps as you go, or triple taps. Really quite hard. You'll feel a burn in action. I love that burn in those muscles. Now if you are getting a bit of a burning action there, it's nice just to make sure you relax. Now that burning feeling is lactic acid. As you get that burning sensation, sometimes the muscles are inefficient, so it's good to wait for about 30-40 seconds before you start the next exercise. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to think about that same sort of action again. Is we're going to practice going up onto our toes and then drawing the heels down this time as we pivot. And we go up and pivot. So as I'm drawing the heels down, I'm getting those lateral muscles around the ankle, working up to the knees, starting to work. And I should be getting the rotation going once again underneath the knee. So my tibia is rotating on the femur, trying to get that little rotation happening. Side to side. Good. Now, if you want to make it a bit harder for yourself, you can bring the feet down deeper, up and over. Try not to bend the legs to the side too much. You don't want to be wild with this exercise. Because remember, it's a small rotational exercise you want to feel. And you really want to work through your foot as you're doing that. And then relax. From there, you're going to slide one leg up the wall and flex it and draw the other one back and start coordinating them together. So now you've definitely warmed up those muscles. You can really feel that lower leg working. So up and down that wall, pumping the leg as you're going. If you want to, you can do it nice and slow. It's a bit of a hard coordination. But the key is that I want to try and draw right down as the other foot is working up. And draw right down as the other foot is working up. So I'm really working to both my hamstrings here. One is flexing, one is extending. Or one is lengthening, sorry, as one flexes as we're doing that exercise. Good. Now, we want to then be able to connect how these muscles work up the knee all the way up to our hip. To do that, we're going to do a simple hip exercise and then combine that with the ankle. First of all, you're just going to move the whole leg to the side. And you want to try and keep the knee and the foot working together in one unit. As if I'm going to open a book and then I'm going to close that book page together. I'm going to go to the other side, opening and closing. So the key when you're doing this exercise here is that when people often go to the side, they go with their feet first and then leave their knee behind. So you want to make sure that the movement is coming from the feet and you're delaying the feet a little bit as you go out so they all stay together as a unit. And I pull back through my hip, through my groin area to bring that leg back. Now you can make it a little bit more complicated and a bit more fun by just bringing the leg up, circling the leg around, try and keep that foot nice and flat, bend the leg in, and then gather the leg together. Up, open, circle, in and together. And then we're going to go to the other side, up, open, circle, in deep, together, up, open, in deep, together, last one, and together. That can be also done the other way. Down, open, out, and then up, down, open, out, up. Other side, down, open. So pivoting at the hips. It's a bit harder. Out and up. So definitely if you have a hip injury or a knee injury, one side might feel stiffer or harder to activate or tire quicker than the other side. When you have the injury, if the injured side was, say for example, the left side, try and do the exercise first with the right leg so you can feel it correctly, and then do the left leg. So your brain can compare the difference of how they work. Now, this one here, you're going to try both legs. You're going to come up with both feet. Open the legs to the side. Open the hips. Draw the feet in, keeping the knees nice and stable. Feel those lateral stabilizers come on, and the tib ant come on, and bring them together. Up, one. Open. Close. Together. Up. Open. Close. Together. Then it goes back the other way. Out. Up. In. Together. Out. Down. And together. Now, you can bring one leg up a little bit up the wall. Here what we're going to do is going to look on how we can move the leg using different parts of our foot like a blade. I'm going to open the knee slightly out to the side, and then I'm going to put my on the wall. I'm going to put my outside part of the foot on the wall. Now, keeping those muscles here active, I'm going to slide that foot up the wall, and then bring it in and deep and low. Then up, activating, in, deep, low, as far as I can go, keeping that heel contact, up, in, and down. So for the other side, I'm going to go out into the outside part of my foot. Slide up, keeping the outside contact, come back in, down, trying to keep that outside contact. As I'm doing that, I'm having to use quite a lot of my glute muscles to stabilize my hip at the same time. So once again, I'm now connecting the stabilizers of my ankle with that of my hips. Often or not, when we're doing sports activities, you have to use the inside part of our foot as well, like a blade, to push off with. So we can do the same thing. When the foot sits here, I go on the inner arches of my foot and I slide it like a letter A across the top. And here I have to use my internal rotators of the hip as I'm doing that. Now that can be quite hard for some people, and you might feel a cramping-like sensation in there. So just do what's comfortable. The other side, there's my internal rotation of the foot, and my foot is now pivoting inwards. Let me use that, going up, and then back, up, and then back. Nice. Nice. Now you can just loosen up your legs, a few little jumps on the wall. And you can even run like you're running on the wall, but try and do this through your feet so you're not landing heavily on the wall, pointing and flexing through the feet so you can feel some of those muscles working. Good work. Okay, so coming in. So well done, guys. This is a nice little way to start your first part of rehabilitation of the lower leg going into the knee. This is particularly important, once again, for activities of the knee and for the ankle, where you need to pivot and then rotate. Simple. Next step, like in the last series that we did, you can then use the same concept with things like balance. Think about activating that lower leg, holding your torso nice and straight. You use those perineals and tib ant muscles to really ground that leg into the ground. As I do that, I can then practice lifting one leg up, and then down, and then up again, and then down. You do that same thing onto the other side, going up, and then down, and then up, and then down. So these are going to be important for some of the series that come up ahead. The foundation that we're working on here is how you connect your feet into the ground and the muscles that you use from here down. These muscles interconnect laterally all the way up to our back and spine. They interconnect medially up through our body so that we're getting a full control of the lower leg series and how we can then integrate that into our torso and how our posture works with balance exercises and movement. Enjoy the weekend.